Alright, Schlockmeisters fans, the sequel to The Savage Bees. It's called Terror Out of the Sky. Let's check it out. Our movie starts out with kind of a recap of The Savage Bees, the previous film. Jeannie Devereaux, the character from the first film, is back in this one, played by a different actress. And she's having nightmares about what happened to her in the Superdome with the bees.
I thought I was dying.
Same old nightmare?
Yes, only worse. Each time it gets harder and harder to breathe.
That's from Zimbalist Jr.
That instance over. One of those bees was destroyed.
Right. In my head, I know it. But somewhere inside of me, I don't know.
Was accidentally carried to New Orleans during Mardi Gras.
Get a little recap again.
The swarm she bred caused 7 deaths. It was assumed by the National Bee Center the bees were destroyed.
Jelly from the Italian bees, and we get a more vibrant queen.
David is becoming the Henry Ford of the bee world.
Bee experimentation.
New model every year, huh?
New and improved, Mr. Groves.
So they're like breeding bees and mailing them out to people who want bees.
It's a disease? Could there be an epidemic going on in there?
Jeannie's boyfriend, Grizzly Adams.
Who are you? Lady I was supposed to take on vacation, she went back to work on me. You the replacement?
No.
What's your name?
Queen of the Bugs.
Queen of the Bug?
The hive, a very much more dominant and aggressive strain.
Like the South American?
Possible.
One queen. Where the devil could she have come from? The swarm was completely destroyed.
David.
Apparently all the bees are acting like the queen bee. And the deadly bees are back. Nick is mad because Jeannie has to work to deal with the bee situation and has to cancel their trip.
Going on a trip for the 3rd time? Tell me about it when I come back from my vacation.
Nick's not happy.
And hive was cleaned 3 times. The first 9 days ago, again 4 days ago, and this morning.
Apparently they shipped out some of the deadly
shipments
bees.
to Halverson myself.
One season they could spread across this country. Killing.
This is the son of the guy who they gave the bees to ship to.
He wants to race.
He doesn't realize what he has on him.
Halverson, I presume. I'm Dr. Martin of the National Bee Center. I just spoke to your father. He asked me to pick this up. Yeah, just didn't put enough stamp on it, that's all.
That's one of 3 packages.
It's a long time to say this, and I'm not trying to take advantage of your problems with Nick. I guess I've always been a little in love with you.
In spite of the 34-year age difference.
And now I feel... I just hope it's not too late to tell you. What's happened, Paul?
I hate to tell you. No luck with those 2 other shipments. I found one number through information, no answer.
David and I have to get to New Mexico as soon as possible, and there's no available plane. I can't tell you how bad the emergency is.
That's where one of the shipments went.
That's the only reason you came here?
Well, yes.
Nick agrees to take him.
Willis.
They find one of the guys who sent the bees to.
You got a package from us the other day. Could you tell me, have you opened the boxes yet?
Exactly what is your business?
I want to buy those boxes back.
Why?
Well, they're experimental. Sorry, no deal. Well,
So this guy has a bunch of beehives, so they're going to, even though he wasn't cooperating, they're going to check him out anyway. They're dressed for a Halloween party or some sort of costume party. Which explains the ridiculous outfits in Louisiana or New Mexico, wherever they are.
You think he's gonna load that hive in his van?
No, not until sundown. Moving a hive during the daylight is like tampering with a live bomb.
So they found out which ones have the bees. So since he wouldn't cooperate, they decide they'll just steal it.
This is private property. Put it down and get out of here.
The owner eventually relented, and they're now killing the bees with some insecticide. That still leaves one package of bees out there somewhere.
And then what? They swarm.
Well, these are the other bees. In real life, this actor here is actually the bee wrangler they used for the movie. In the movie, he's the bee's next victim. Jeannie's starting to freak out now.
I just don't want to go down there. I don't want to go down there.
She's still somewhat terrified and afraid of the bees.
Let me go. Don't let
Anyway, there's this big annual baseball game. There's Ike Eisenman, by the way, from Disney movies. And the bees are getting near this annual baseball game, so they decide to land the plane right on the field.
Yeah, okay, it's a deal. Now, I want you to get your troop, and I want to organize a search mission.
What are we looking for?
Bees.
So you just want me to believe you and call off the game with no official authority behind you?
Colonel, you haven't got time to worry about authority.
Well, why don't we just sit in our cars then and see?
Because if there are any openings underneath or air vents, bees can get in.
Anyway, the bees start to swarm in. And Jeannie and the Boy Scout troops hide on a bus. So she starts honking the bus horn to attract the bees to the bus and get away from all the people, which amazingly works. So just like in the first movie, she decides to drive away with the bees on her vehicle. She drives out to a remote location. Now they're apparently running out of air. All the boys have to take their shirts off. She keeps hers on. Plug up the vents.
And that suit.
David has a solution. He's going to volunteer.
No, Colonel. This is the chemical called pheromone, the artificial scent of the queen bee. They can't resist it. They swarm to it.
Nature sure is wonderful.
I don't know why exactly they had to airlift him dangling from a helicopter, but they do. So he's gonna get to the bus and try to attract the bees away from it. So they set him on top of the bus. He basically kind of walks around a bit. I guess his suit is covered in those pheromones. And once he's attracted the bees, they fly him out of there.
He's done it.
So anyway, they end up taking him to some building somewhere. I'm guessing it's some sort of government facility. I'm not exactly sure what the end game here, but they obviously want to kill the bees.
I just closed the door.
David, the canisters of insecticide have been left next to the door.
Can you see them? Yeah, I see them.
So anyway, he wanders through the tunnels of this building, spraying this insecticide. I don't know if he's running out of air or what exactly is happening, but apparently there was a cave-in. The door is jammed shut. There was an emergency hatch here, and that collapsed on him. Now he's hurt.
I don't think there's any way out.
Get that team in there. Get him up.
Okay, get him out.
Don't do that. Keep that hatch shut.
This is Colonel Manx. Go back. We're going to open up the tunnel and pull you out.
Nick. Nick, are you there?
David's refusing to come out.
No. We can't let one of those bees escape. It's too late for me.
There's a standby team just waiting to go after you. Just hold on.
I've already inhaled enough of this stuff to take care of my nervous system for good. It's cumulative.
So that's it. David's gonna die in there with the bees. And that's the end of our film. Alright, let's talk about this movie called Terror Out of the Sky. Now, yesterday I reviewed a movie, The Savage Bees, was made for TV from 1976. This is actually a legitimate sequel, a made-for-TV movie from 1978. The same character, Jeannie Devereaux, who was played by Gretchen Corbett in the first movie, is played by a different woman in this one. Her name is Tova Feldshuh, is her actress name. I'd never heard of her before, but she's still around doing stuff. Anyway, Dan Haggerty also co-stars, as does Efren Zimbalist Jr. I don't know if it really picks up where the other one left off. I guess it kind of does. She plays the same character again, and she's been haunted by the experience she had, especially driving to the Superdome with the bees in the first film. It's basically the same story. There's bees all across the, I guess this is Louisiana again, and they're just terrorizing, killing some people, blah, blah, blah. And got to get rid of the bees, right? So at one point, apparently they're attracted to sound, so they're like going after this marching band, this parade thing that's going on. And Jeannie hops into this bus with a bunch of Boy Scouts, and they start honking the horn to attract the bees to come to them. And of course, the bees come, completely surround the bus and attach themselves to the bus, but they can't get in. So then she drives the bus away, which drives the bees with her too. So, and they end up in some remote area, and then all the boys have to take off their shirts and everything to cover up all the air vents and everything, so they can't get in. And next thing you know, they're running out of air. They're dying. It's hot. They don't know what to do. But there's a lot of people nearby, the government officials, that sort of thing. So they decide to get this one guy, Efren Zimbalist. They put him in like this suit, and then like a bee suit, a hazmat suit, and then he has this pheromone, I guess, sprayed all over him, which attracts the bees. So he is like helicoptered into the bus area. I don't know why a helicopter was necessary, but nonetheless, that's what happened. And then he kind of walked all over the bus, kind of brushed the bees around with his feet, and then they lifted him up again, and I guess the bees followed, and they ended up taking him to some building somewhere where I don't know exactly what was going to go on there. There were some pesticides inside this building. He was going through some tunnels, and somehow he got hurt. He fell up this ladder, and they were going to go get him up, but he said, no, leave me here. You know, somehow, for some reason, he sacrificed his life so that the bees could be killed. I don't quite understand what the hell was happening in that tunnel, but that's what happened. And there was a love triangle with him and Jeannie and Dan Haggerty as well, even though there was like a 34-year age difference between Zimbalist and the woman. Haggerty was a hell of a lot closer in age than Efren Zimbalist was. But anyway, that's how our movie ended. So there you go. I don't think I'd ever seen this movie before until today. I've had this movie in my collection since about 1988 or 89. My fellow Schlockmeister Jeff rented it and copied it for me. I eventually tracked down a pre-recorded VHS of it, but I never actually watched it, and now I got the DVD. Now, the DVD, this particular DVD has become quite expensive for God knows why. I've seen it listed as high as $200, and I don't know why. It just doesn't make any sense why it would be. However, you can get and it's not a Blu-ray actually, it's a DVD. It's called like the Triple Insect Invasion, I think is what it's called. It has Terror Out of the Sky, I think it has Tarantula's Deadly Cargo, and one other killer animal movie, Bees, I don't know what it was. I have that one. I have all three of them, but I can't remember what the third one is. But anyway, you can get that on Amazon for about $25. I haven't seen that on eBay ever. It's not a Blu-ray though. It looks like a Blu-ray, but it's not. But you can get it much cheaper that way, so that's the way to go. paying $200 for this seems absurd, but whatever, right? I'm glad I have it. So anyway, I didn't pay anywhere near that much for it. So anyway, check it out. Let me know what you think about it. Leave some comments down below. It's called Terror Out of the Sky. Watch it. Bye.